All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to talk about Sweet Baby Inc. again. Now, we are going to be talking about a new rumor and a new conversation that is happening right now around this company, the same company that started Gamergate 2.0. And that conversation is about the fact that they have not lost any contracts and are supposedly working on about 30 games. Now, I can't speak for anyone else, but what I can say is that when we've talked about Sweet Baby Inc., I never once said this company was going to go broke. I never once said this company was ever going to lose their contracts. What I did say was that this company eventually was going to start hiding who they worked with because, quite frankly, this company and other companies like them in the consultancy grift, they have become required reading for all of the studios in the gaming industry. The studios utilize these companies to shield them from any potential criticism that might come their way for anything race-related. And at this point, they're never going to lose any work so long as the industry considers them to be required.
But anyway, the first time that I actually made a black protagonist was in Mass Effect in 2010. And that felt really, really great.
So we have an article here from Fandom Pulse with a headline that reads, Rumor, Kim Belair and Sweet Baby Inc. have lost no contracts and are working on about 30 games. I would honestly say that it's probably a little bit more than this because they work on a lot of indie games, and every once in a while they might get lucky and snag a AAA title, but ultimately they've been working on a lot of indie games right now. And this is the reason why I keep telling you guys, man, they were going to hide who they worked with. It was only a matter of time. When we saw Square Enix pull out from their list, when we saw, I forgot the other name of the company, there was like 2 or 3 companies that pulled out from their list of contracts, they have decided, you know what? Let's just hide everything. And this is the reason why I advocate for transparency in the gaming industry. And this is the reason why I talk about these things, because these developers, these studios, and these consultancy firms, they're all in the same bed together. And even though the gaming industry is very silent around the nonsense that surrounded Gamergate and especially Sweet Baby Inc., because they know if they talk about it, it's going to bring a lot of backlash to them, even though they're silent, they still consider these companies to be required reading, and they're going to hire them no matter what. So let's get into this article, guys, from Fandom Pulse. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So it says a new rumor alleges that Kim Belair and her Sweet Baby Inc. consultancy have lost no contracts and have at least 30 games that they are working on still to be released. YouTuber Master the TDS, who co-hosts the Gothic Therapy channel, recently shared on X, I've told people over and over that they have lost no contracts and are continuing to work. I got that information from an SBI insider. He added there are about 30 games that they have in yet to come out. Now, here's the thing. If you have an insider at SBI, I don't really know if I would exactly trust an insider at SBI, right? I feel like I have a multitude of different reasons why that would be legit. You know what I mean? Like, don't trust anybody from SBI, because who's the insider, right? And if you have an insider, I'm sure you verify them to some extent, but still, at this point in time, I think this insider is going to work in the benefit of SBI for whatever that reason may be. Now, 30 games sounds about right, but again, I think it's a little bit higher than that when you think about the amount of companies that they actually work for. 30 games sounds like it's going to be a fun time trying to figure out which of those 30 games are SBI infected. You know what I mean? Like, what are those 30 games? We're not going to know because they're going to keep it from us. So this is going to be our job over the next year or two to look for these games that are infected by SBI and make sure that we give transparency to the gaming, to gamers. We need to make sure they get transparency because these companies don't want to be transparent. I mean, think about this. Think about trying to pretend to be trustworthy, right? Trying to pretend to be trustworthy, and then you're hiding the companies that you work with. It's very odd to me. So then anyway, it says this revelation comes in the wake of YouTuber Smash JT. Damn, everybody's getting named here. Reporting that a Sweet Baby Inc. narrative designer who is a man pretending to be a woman and using the name Maxine Sophia Wolf revealed on his website that he worked on an unannounced Remedy game that is yet to be announced. Now, okay, so a lot of people are thinking with this particular bit of information, a lot of people are thinking that this has to be with the next Control game, which very well might be the case, okay? It's definitely not the next Alan Wake game. I gotta imagine it's probably for the next Control game, which means that we are going to see the same level of nonsense that we saw in Alan Wake 2. We're going to see that in Control 2. I would not be surprised. Now, unfortunately, this just means that Remedy, and we already knew this, right? So let's not pretend to be surprised, but Remedy is still going down the DEI rabbit hole by utilizing Sweet Baby Inc. And I want to remind you guys, A lot of companies are doing this, man. They use these consultancy firms as a shield against criticism for anything race related or anything at this point, not even just race related, also just anything diversity related, right? They want to shield against anything trans, they want to shield anything against LGBTQ. They will use those consultancy firms as a shield to protect them against anything that people might say about the video game. If it's inaccurate or whatever, they'll say, well, we hired a consultancy firm. They consulted with us. They're the ones that did it. You know what I mean? So at this point now, I just find it interesting that now we got to play hide and seek with these people because they don't want to be transparent with gamers because they don't like gamers knowing that they're working on stuff. This is a company that made the joke about, oh, we're not trying to hide. We have a public-facing website. It's very easily found. And here they are editing their public-facing website to hide all the information that is relevant that gamers are looking for. Isn't that incredible how that works out? It also comes after Master of the TDS and Gothic Therapy revealed that Sweet Baby Inc. and specifically Wolf consulted on the game called The Crush House, which was developed by Nerial and published by Devolver Digital and released to Steam back in August. This game, which retails at $17, only managed to hit a peak concurrent player count of just 362. In the last 24 hours, it only hit a peak concurrent of just 12 players. Well, to be fair, again, the Crush House is not exactly the kind of game that's going to get insane levels of player support anyway. I mean, it's a very indie, very like niche game, so I can't really see this game pulling numbers with or without SBI. Obviously, knowing SBI is involved is going to kill any momentum going forward, but still, I really don't think this game was going to hit very hard. Very clearly, people bought this game and regretted it because look how fast it dipped off. If you look at this line here, it dipped off within just a couple of days, and it just completely tanked and never recovered. So nobody was really interested in this game to begin with, and having SBI involved was the least of their worries, I'm sure, at this point. Furthermore, this comes in the wake of Kim Belair also claiming her company had not been impacted financially from gamers boycotting games that her company consulted on. During a presentation at the XOXO Festival, Belair said, "I was so worried that studios would stop working with us. I was worried we seemed too toxic. I was worried that we seemed too dangerous, too beleaguered, too much of a risk to work with. But that is not what happened. What happened was, at least privately, every team worked with was quite supportive," she added. "The external silence, I'll say, was deafening at times and also frustrating, but such is the way of corporate. And it was still nice fundamentally, I think, to realize that studios, teams, and individuals still wanted us around and still saw our value." Let's be very clear. It's not about value, okay? You guys are required reading. That's the problem. You guys have now become, due to the industry standards, you guys have become required reading for these studios, and they are going to seek out consultancy no matter what project they're working on, okay? Most studios are going to seek out consultancy no matter what. So you guys have become and I got to admit, it's an amazing grift. Congratulations on that. You have terrorized their marketing teams to force them to hire you and to keep hiring you and consider you to be required reading. That was fantastic work. I got to admit, you guys are definitely top tier for that one. And again, that's not my words. That's actually her words. She admitted that she terrorizes marketing teams in order to get them hired. So that's very interesting that she was very successful at that. So again, she has had her way with multiple studios that now at this point, every time those studios come out with a video game or work on a video game, they're going to immediately consult SBI or another consultancy firm. This is a massive grift within the gaming industry that is proving to be very financially beneficial, and they are the ones to be the first ones to call us grifters when we talk about it. It's absolutely insane. So anyway, at the end of the day, they admit that there is external silence, which means that the studios do not want people to know that they're working with SBI. So SBI doesn't want you to know, and the studios don't want you to know. You know when they want you to find out? When you bought the game and you look at the credit scene, that's when they want you to know. Otherwise, they don't really care. They don't care about you. They don't care about being transparent with you, and they want to hide as much as humanly possible to try to bait and switch you into a purchase. At the end of the day, go support your favorite YouTubers who are talking about this, because that's the only way you're ever going to find out about this nonsense, considering that they don't like to be transparent. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.